Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin.Choice and you're watching Choice TV. So for today's video I wanted to get on here and talk about the DDG and Halle Bailey situation. And before I even get on here and say anything, let me start off by saying Choice Raven-Symoné Baxter acts again. Haters. When people were concerned about her settling for someone who doesn't match up with her brand and her image, she said that a lot of people are haters and a lot of people are just mad because she's a Disney princess and she's thriving.
Microscope on me and my life, especially now suddenly that I'm a Disney princess, and you know, people are looking for any little thing to talk about, but what I just respect about this connection is that there's love there and will always be. So I just don't mind all of the naysayers or people who are
Did you say don't respond, don't respond?
No, he can do what he wants.
All I'll say is this: when the time comes and DDG fucks her over, and we see it happening because of his narcissistic, self-absorbed behavior that is literally ruining the image of this business, when he does her dirty, a lot of people are not going to feel bad for her after this event. And this right there told me that she's a lot like DDG than a lot of us expected. I kind of knew this was going to happen because, let's be real, DDG is very self-absorbed, he's narcissistic, he's very fame hungry, money hungry, and he's very fame hungry.
I don't get the chance to do that. I get pinned against the wall, and then everything else is variables on why I can't see my son. You feel me? Like it don't have nothing to do with me working, by the way. I'm not gonna air out her business, but me and her has not been together for a long time. And she got this fucking golden image that I've also protected. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna keep doing that because I'm a real nigga. But this shit is foul, bro. Like, if I want to come get my son, I should be able to get my son. He's been throwing hints for a couple of months, making it very clear that Halle is a control freak and he doesn't call the shots. Instead, she calls the shots, she's the leader, and she does little petty things to keep control of the whole dynamic. Not only that, Halle Bailey also, of course, got a lot of backlash when she made it very clear she didn't want her child on stream with DDG and Kai Cenat. Y'all remember that when she basically said, I don't agree with my child being on stream with a streamer? Basically, she got a lot of backlash for that. But let's not forget, she's also always going on live with her kid. Her kid is always on live with her and her sister and people that are close to her. But she felt a way about DDG doing it. Essentially, she made it very clear that she calls the shots and she runs shit. And DDG, of course, ignored it for a while. But then DDG got to a point where he made it very clear months ago he struggles to see his son. The nanny get treated better than me. I don't even know the lady name. I pick him up from the damn nanny. I don't even know this bitch name. I don't want to call her a bitch, but like, it's not cool, bro.
And what's unfortunate is DDG's fans have been going in on her constantly because of him always, making it a point that she's keeping my kid away from me. DDG's fans even put together a compilation during their child's birthday party where basically it was very clear that Halle is always clinging on to the baby to keep control over DDG. It's almost as if she always calls the shots. Check out this video. People see these kind of compilations and they think, damn, why can't he hold his son? That's his son too. Or why is she so clingy over her son? This is his house. He threw the birthday party and he wants some alone time with their son. And even though they're not even together in this video, she's present and he can even have alone time or holding time with his child. But then as time goes on, as the light has come forth, a lot of us figured out why.
Halle Bailey is taking legal action against her ex, DDG. The Little Mermaid star, who shares 17-month-old son Halo with the rapper, was granted a temporary domestic violence restraining order on May 13th against the musician, according to legal documents obtained by E! News. She writes in the order, I then stopped fighting back as I was in a lot of pain, before adding elsewhere, Daryl lacks an understanding of how his actions impact Halo. He is often verbally abusive towards me in front of Halo. Halle also describes multiple other alleged altercations between the pair, including receiving a threatening text from DDG in March after he allegedly entered her home while she wasn't there. According to the docs, days later, the musician allegedly locked Halle out of her house and stole her phone before driving away and throwing it out of his car window. In addition to these interactions, Halle says DDG often engages in bad-mouthing me to his several millions of fans across YouTube and Twitch, which she says results in her receiving threats and hate on social media. She adds, "I have done everything possible to avoid going to court," before concluding with, "I cannot allow this abuse any longer. I cannot keep living like this."
And the details get gorier and more awkward. But there's a few things that I side-eye in this case, and there's a few things that kind of got me looking at The Little Mermaid a certain kind of way too. But let me give you guys my honest opinion. So, the first alleged instance, according to TMZ, took place in January of New Year's of 2025, after they initially broke up in October. Halle Bailey says DDG came over to pick up Halo, and when she started a conversation about Halo's visitation schedule with DDG, he told her, "Get out of my car, bitch," multiple times. Bailey grew nervous about leaving Halo with him, and she said, "We fought each other, wrestling and tussling," and she even said at one point, DDG was pulling my hair. He then slammed my face on the steering wheel, causing my tooth to get chipped. I then stopped fighting back as I was in a lot of pain. Bailey included photos of bruises on her arms and a chipped tooth. Ooh. And she basically claims that DDG is very abusive and verbally abusive in front of their child. She claimed in her court filing that DDG locked her out of her house upon realizing that her Ring camera was still recording him, and he destroyed it. He allegedly smashed it. He then took out her phone and threw it out the car window and started yelling, "Go get it, bitch," as a result of this incident. Bailey says that she then filed a police report after that. You know what's so crazy about DDG being seen as this, domestic abuser? It's the fact that DDG did an interview recently and he made it very clear that one of his biggest red flags are women that put their hands on him.
You start dating somebody, you see this red flag, you're like, yeah, no, it's checkout time. I can't do that. Something that you've learned over the time.
A girl that put her hands on you, can't do that.
Ooh.
Can't do that. No.
Damn, that was a serious red flag right now. I was thinking maybe somebody that was constantly texting.
Nah,
Like,
I think physical contact,
of
like
course,
fighting and stuff. I think another red flag would be boy best friends not doing that.
And it's crazy how this is coming out of him putting his hands on Halle. I mean, was she violent? Did she put his hands on him first? Because he seemed a little bit triggered by the question. She even shared multiple screenshots and messages of DDG bugging her, harassing her, saying, "This is what we doing, this how you is." And she even posted a screenshot in her court documents of DDG accusing her of messing around with another male celebrity by the name of Brent Faiyaz, and basically saying, "This what we on, this what we doing," while they're on the same resort, in the same island, in the same country at the same time. So DDG is just very much giving the vibe of an obsessive baby daddy that won't let her go. And what makes things even creepier, DDG even has his name saved as baby daddy in her phone. So it's very clear that Halle Bailey's trying to disassociate, and maybe DDG has a problem with trying to keep her under control and keep her on the loop, because she essentially is putting her power first and putting her kid first, and she's keeping herself and her kid far away from him, and DDG is rebelling and completely lashing out. I see stuff like this and it makes me understand deeper and deeper what's really going on. And she even went as far as to say that DDG has tried to hide her son in the past. Halle Bailey doesn't really get much sympathy or grace because a lot of people kind of saw this coming. Not the DV situation, obviously, but the fact that people told her he's gonna fuck her over eventually. Not because a lot of us look at her as like she obviously deserves to be fucked over, but because, I mean, let's be real. The red flags were apparent. Even the female rapper Ruby Rose tried to warn her ass. Ruby Rose posted some screenshots of her and DDG messaging, and as we all know, her and DDG used to be in a serious relationship. And the messages read, "Wow, you always text me whenever you and her argue." And then he just sent laughing emojis, LOL. You know what I mean? And basically, Halle saw that and she just thought the devil was working hard and people are just jealous and bitter and so much more, shitting on her. And then DDG posted a whole tweet saying that bitch is evil, it's not what it looks like, and so much more. And it's sad because I'm pretty sure Halle Bailey was eating it all up. Like, oh, she's just jealous of what I got and trying to destroy it. He was feeding her all this stuff just for DDG to portray Halle as an evil, bitter baby mama. And he portrayed his ex as evil and conniving and just bitter. I'm telling you, Halle Bailey got her karma. She got exactly what she deserved. Not the DV thing, obviously. Of course, no one deserves to get hands put on them. Now, I'm not saying that. But she got her karma when she really sat up here and tried to defend DDG and said the devil was working hard. And now look at her being portrayed as the person that's evil and bitter by DDG and his fans that he is now unleashing on her, making it seem like she's the bitter baby mama that won't let him see his kid. Isn't that crazy how life turns around? Isn't it crazy? That's why you always got to watch out for the guys that just bash their exes and say she's evil, she's this, she's that. Because if she was so evil and she's all these things, why were you so attracted to her? If a man tends to bash his ex and make her out to be crazy and bitter, more than likely he was the problem. Y'all didn't learn from Erica Mena when she recently had to publicly apologize to Nicki Minaj for hopping on the hate train?
I found out he was cheating on me the first time ever, and he was going to Chinese parlors.
Well, didn't Nicki Minaj say that he was paying for with her credit cards?
Before we get into that, I owe her the biggest apology. I owe her an apology because, like a lot of us women tend to do when we don't know any better, especially when we're hard, deep, wrapped, warped into the love bombing phase, is the red flag that us women tend to ignore when a man sits there and talks to you,
Love bombs,
about his ex and all the things she did to him. It's funny how life comes full circle because the same thing he did to her, he's doing to me years later. I remember him pouring his heart out to me about all the stuff she did to him, showing me videos of her reacting. And at the time, I didn't think to ask, well, what did you do to her?
Why does this man always have videos of these women reacting?
Exactly. And now, mind you, this is a video he was at one point going around. I found out later on, he was going around the industry showing to, like, around the time he was trying to bring her down, when he was lying to people saying that he wrote for her, like literally saying whatever he could to like kind of ruin her career and take her credibility for her real hard-earned work. I owe this woman an apology because I sat there and allowed him to talk about her to me. From that came me saying things and like defending and vouching for him and speaking up on her in a way that was tacky, because at the end of the day, I didn't know the truth, especially not the truth that I know now. A lot of women do that. They get caught up with a man and he's so good to you that you allow him to gossip to you about his ex.
You get manipulated.
And they never tell you what they did. They just tell you what they did and how crazy she is, and she did this and she did that. But it comes full circle. Tables always turn.
Halle Bailey's currently going through her karma. She's going exactly through what Erica Mena had to go through, where she thought that she was the, heroic good girl that saved the bad boy. He's not going to change. He couldn't even marry you. So he's definitely not going to change. But what I really also want to discuss is this. I also don't really have much sympathy for Halle Bailey, what she's going through in terms of being embarrassed and publicly being dragged through the dirt by DDG, because let's not forget about what she put that pregnant woman through during the nail salon situation.
Because we have back-to-backs. Mind you, no one is in this place. It's empty. There's like one girl getting her nails done and no one else. She keeps going at me, talking about, well, then she finally goes, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to cancel her. She can't get hers done today. While I'm in the chair already. And then I start saying, excuse me, ma'am. Literally, like, I have been here. I told you that she was gonna be late on the phone already before we set the appointment. And now you're telling me when my sister is 5 minutes away now that she's canceled while she's on her way? I'm like, that's not right. Like, and I've been a consistent customer. I've always been on time.
I'm sure you guys remember the whole situation with the nail salon situation, where she got a lot of backlash because, as we all know, she basically decided to get her nails done and her sister wanted to come with her. She was an hour late. Well, not her, but her sister was an hour late to the appointment. And the nail salon lady decided to cancel it and say, yeah, I don't care that your sister is an hour late. I don't care. She needs to go. You guys need to go. If you guys are going to hold me up, I got to go. The nail salon was very feisty with her and told her, I'm not going to accommodate you. Halle Bailey, being the celebrity that she is, she's shocked when people put their foot down towards her. So essentially, she went on a rant on Snapchat, which is justified. She wanted to rant and vent about it. But she then told DDG, and DDG was pissed and decided to go on a crazy-ass smear campaign for the nail salon and basically portrayed them to be racist. DVD decided to tweet the following in her defense because, of course, Halle was crying, and this is what he tweeted. He tweeted, "This place is racist towards black people. They kicked my girlfriend out while doing her nails. Please give them a 1 star. They don't deserve business. Perfect nails," and he left a link for their Yelp reviews. That is so insane because none of that is true. First and foremost, they didn't kick Halle out. She willingly left.
The short story why I'm doing this video, because I'm pregnant. I'm 8 months pregnancy, and this is supposed to be my last week that I'm working because it's getting so hard, it's so stressful. And today, after this situation, when she basically she almost argued with me that why I can't accept her sister, and I explained, which is normal, but she didn't understand. And then she said, okay, we are leaving. I said, I'm so sorry, but we can't. We still can continue your service, but not for your sister. Which she said, no need, and she just left. She made a video on Snapchat where she was telling half of the stories wasn't true, but somebody for her posted on Instagram, where's the page almost 2 million. They posted go to this business page and write 1-star reviews, which is okay, but they texting me so bad. Now I get non-stop phone calls from different states. First I didn't know what's happening. I started to pick up the phone and people were saying racist, burn on hell, kill yourself, I'm sorry, fuck your business. And I got non-stop these calls, non-stop reviews.
After tons of scrutiny and DDG not retracting his statements, Halle Bailey responded to all the backlash she got and said, y'all, it's not that serious. I was just explaining my day on Snapchat and did not name any names. We went to another salon and still got our nails done beautifully, LOL. Everyone be nice to everyone and calm down about some nails, please. It was all fun and games when he was a control freak and he was narcissistic when he was hyping you up. But then when it got to a point where it worked against you, look how quickly it backfired. I always say, be careful what you enable, because when you enable somebody's behavior, you inherit their karma. So essentially, this is somewhat her karma. Not the DV situation, obviously, because it is kind of fucked up that he did put his hands on her. But the situation where now he's using his audience to completely make you look like a fool, make you look bitter. And I'll be real, even though he probably did put his hands on her and he probably did pull her hair and all types of stuff and call her a bitch, a piece of me maybe thinks that she probably provoked him to some degree. Not saying that she deserved it, but she probably also provoked him, because did he pull her hair for completely no reason at all? Did she scratch him? Did she put hands on him? There's just a lot of questions that I do have as a whole. And it really sucks that a lot of us have to be inserted into the group chat. And to be honest with you, a lot of this that I see that's unfolding and coming out about Halle Bailey saying that he's toxic and he's abusive. I mean, it's a shame, but that's DDG's fault for getting her pregnant. DDG made it very clear in interviews, even after they broke up, he has strong commitment issues. He's always made that very clear.
I would like to keep any future relationships off of a stream. But I'm gonna be single till I'm about 49. So
why 49? Why not 50? We can round it up.
You're right.
50.
I feel like at 50, it's I should already be married.
Do you see yourself getting married?
Eventually, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, later on in life.
And it's sad because I think Halle Bailey's disappointed because she really thought that this man would change for her, and she gave him the greatest blessing in the world, a child, and he still wouldn't change. I think there's bitterness on both sides, and sadly they're throwing their kid in the middle of it. This all sounds a little bit too familiar. You know, this kind of reminds me of the Keke Palmer and Darius situation, where, as we all know, Darius, her child's father, literally bopped, twisted, turned her, bopped, twisted, turned her, flipped it, twisted, all her ass all over the couch, and then literally filmed her, embarrassed her, tried to snatch her phone, destroyed her phone and everything. And then she even got a domestic violence restraining order against him and tried to keep herself and her kids safe, just for her to eventually flip the script, and now they're back together and they're trying to co-parent in peace.
And you know what's so crazy about this whole situation is that she's probably going to take him back. And let me tell you why. There's a lot of history. When I analyze and look at the women in my family and women that I've seen in my personal life go through these kind of chaos and these chaotic situations, they always take the guy back. I feel like most of y'all can probably relate and can think of somebody immediately. You have so much history and you created a life with an actual person. And this relationship just recently ended and they recently had a kid. So they're going to end up right back together because most women usually don't want to raise a kid alone. They're going to end up getting back together. She's going to end up telling everybody to mind their business and much more. On top of that, a lot of women do tend to do that. When a lot of women don't get along with their child's father, or their child's father is abusive or controlling or manipulative, a lot of times women feel like they have to protect their peace by completely putting a restraining order or putting a boundary. And oftentimes that leads to them taking the kid with them. And sadly, this is not going to end well. And the only person that I really feel bad about in all this is their son, Halo. He's really the only one that's going to suffer in the long haul. But this is Halle's choice. She chose this. And it's sad because a lot of us saw the red flag.
They really just need co-parenting counseling. But I think both of them are just too self-absorbed to even want to consider it. So they rather figure it out on their own. Because what's so sad about this whole situation is when people are having issues and having conflict, they're too busy trying to argue and debate that they won't even try to come to a conclusion. It's just about who's right. So because they are failing to get along and failing to see each other's perspectives, they're failing to communicate. And the kid always suffers in the end.
But that's that for this video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. That's that on everything I said. Give me your thoughts down below. And yeah, that's that. Troyce out this bitch.
You will always be, I say, fire to the rain, watch it burn, I run away, in this turn, and I say, fire to the rain, watch it burn, I set fire to the rain. That's all y'all get for free, and I don't even know the lyrics. Y'all have a good one.